In this example, we have our sales company here, our usual suspect list of reps here, and we're just keeping track of like a quarter worth the numbers here. So what I want to do though, what the ultimate goal here is that I want to pay my reps a bonus on what they sold, but more specifically, I want to pay them on the profitability of the sale. So the more profit they generated in the long run overall, then the more money they're going to make. So I'm not going to be paying the bonus like we've seen in other examples up to this point, where we're just going to take the total and give them 5% or something like that. Instead, we're going to first of all take the total minus the expenses of the sales, the cost of goods. Whatever that number is, that is what we would call profit in general, right? And we're going to pay them at that point 25% of that profit, okay? And this is a very common thing to be done in a lot of business right now. Now this is going to involve using parentheses, and a lot of you have probably remembered doing parentheses in math class. Maybe you didn't think much of it, but they are very handy and they're very important in a lot of cases. This, parentheses can make or break the way a formula results. All right. In other words, if you do a calculation, if you put together a formula, and it comes out differently than what you expected, chances are it might be that you need a set of parentheses in there. Well, you'll see it as we go along here. So we're going to do an equal, all right? And we're going to do immediately a left parenthesis. And I'll tell you the other thing too. Think about this. You might want to work this out on a sheet of paper, with your parentheses and everything. Get it on paper and then transfer that to your screen, if that helps, in the beginning. After a while, you'll be able to do it directly on the screen here, but it helps to write it down first and then translate it out onto Excel. Go right ahead. So you got equal left parenthesis. We're going to take this number here, what they brought in, the revenue, minus what the cost of goods are so whatever went into the sale as far as the product, the cost of it was $25,000 in this case, right? So then we're going to close that up. So now we're going to take the difference, and whatever that difference is, we're going to multiply it by 0.25, see? So the reason why we had to use the parentheses is that we don't want the 25% of the expenses of the F3. We want the 25% of the total within the parentheses, all right? Because some of you probably know this, that the order of calculation in mathematics is basically division, multiplication, and then plus and minus. Well, before even division, it's parentheses. So the parentheses are done first. Then if there's division to be done, that's done. And then multiplication and so forth. So this was the first to be done, the first to be calculated, whatever that ends up being, times 25, not 25 times F3. So now when we do that, so it's like two different calculations going on there, everybody. So you hit the enter key on that, we get our bonus. So that is 25% of not this or that, but the difference between the two. And we'll go ahead and copy that down, just like that. Hit our little smart tag to get rid of the formatting. And there we go. All right, so that's it. That's about as easy as it goes. So if it turns out later on that Susan ends up finding out that, oh, it wasn't $45,000 in expenses. We actually got a lot of that product at a major discount. We didn't realize it, and it brought it down to about $32,000, right? So you put in $32,000 in there, that bumps her up quite a bit because her cost of goods are less. That leaves more, or gives us more profit, thus gives her more profit, right? More profit in the way of a bonus. So major stuff there, pretty good stuff there. So hopefully you can use this in your own worksheets as well. I hope you like the video. Take care.